Ever wonder how the pros stop AI from, well, going off the rails? Today, we're prying open the AI security toolbox. We're going to dive into a super important strategy called threat modeling and look at the exact resources the experts use to build our defenses. So, let's jump right in.
I mean, this is the question, right? We're building these incredible AI systems that can create, make decisions, even control things in the real world. But you know the saying, with great power comes great risk. So how do we make sure these things are solid, trustworthy, and locked down tight against anyone trying to mess with them?
Okay, so to even begin to answer that, we really have to get a handle on just how much is on the line here. This isn't just about software anymore, not by a long shot. We're basically out on this new frontier, and the security playbook, it's being written as we go. Just think about it for a second. AI isn't some niche thing stuck in a university lab. Nope, it's the co-pilot in our cars, it's a diagnostic tool in our hospitals, it's the thing that flags fraud on your credit card. It's literally woven into the very fabric of our critical infrastructure. And we're not talking about small-time jobs here. These AI models are chowing down on huge amounts of our most sensitive data, personal info, financial records, you name it. And they're not just looking at data, they're controlling physical stuff. Power grids, factory robots. The level of trust we're putting into these systems is just massive. And that's the real kicker. Because it's so deeply embedded everywhere, AI has become a massive glowing target for attackers. And these aren't your old school hackers just trying to steal passwords. They're way more sophisticated now. They're trying to manipulate AI decisions, poison the models from the inside out, and cause real, tangible chaos in the physical world. So, okay, faced with this totally new and kind of scary landscape, how in the world do the pros stay one step ahead? Well, the answer isn't just reacting to attacks. It's about getting proactive with a really smart approach called threat modeling. And threat modeling isn't about building bigger digital walls. It's a mindset. It's all about putting on your black hat for a minute and thinking like a bad guy. Before you even start building, you're asking, how could I break this thing? Who would want to, and what would they gain? It's a structured way to get inside an attacker's head and build your defenses before they even show up. So where do you even start? That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? This whole AI field is moving at lightning speed. It can feel totally overwhelming. Do we worry about the data, the model, how people interact with it? Where do you even begin to look for threats? Well, the good news is we are not starting from square one, not at all. Some of the smartest people and biggest organizations in security, I'm talking about groups like OWASP, MIT, and MITRE, have put together a sort of essential starter kit of resources. These are the go-to guides, the absolute bedrock for anyone who's serious about securing AI. All right, let's pop the hood on this toolbox. We're going to organize these amazing resources into three main groups. What I like to call the most wanted lists, the intelligence hubs, and the blueprints and standards. First up, those most wanted lists. These come from an organization called OWASP. Now, if you're in the security world, you know OWASP is legendary for their top 10 lists of the worst web vulnerabilities. Well, now they've done the same thing for AI, with specialists for large language models and machine learning. They pinpoint the big, nasty attacks you hear about, like prompt injection and model poisoning. Basically, these lists tell you, hey, look here first. This is where the bad stuff happens. And that's why the FBI's most wanted analogy is so perfect. If you need to know which bad guys to look out for, you check the list. This isn't some academic exercise. This is a catalog of real threats that are being used right now out in the wild. It is, without a doubt, your starting point. Okay, next up in the toolbox, the intelligence hubs. So if the OWASP lists tell you what the biggest threats are, these resources help you understand the how and the why. They give you all the juicy context by documenting actual attacks and breaking down how the bad guys operate. And there are two big ones that are really like two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have the MIT AI Risk Repository. Think of it like a library of AI disasters. It's a collection of case studies of real incidents where AI systems messed up or were abused. It's all about learning from what's gone wrong in the past. Then you flip the coin over and you've got MITRE's Atlas. This is like the attacker's playbook. It breaks down step by step all the tactics and techniques adversaries use against AI. So one side shows you the accident report, the other shows you the attacker's moves. You absolutely need both to get the full picture. And last but not least, we've got the blueprints and standards. Look, once you know what the threats are and how attackers think, you need a common language to talk about it all.
And you need a structured process to make sense of it. That is exactly what these are for.
A great example is the CVE system. It gives every single vulnerability its own unique ID number. Now, why does that matter? Well, it means a researcher in Japan, a coder in Germany, and a security analyst in Brazil can all talk about the exact same problem and know they're on the same page. No confusion. It allows for a coordinated global defense. When you combine that with threat modeling frameworks, which give you a repeatable checklist, you start turning security from this kind of reactive art form into a proactive, organized science.
Okay, so we have our tools, we've got the most wanted lists, we've got the intel, and we've got the blueprints. The big question now is, how do you actually use them all together to build a rock-solid defense? And listen, this might be the single most important point of the whole explainer. You can't just pick one of these tools and call it a day. That's like having a really great car key, but no car. Real effective security only happens when you use this entire ecosystem of resources together. Each piece plays its own critical, interconnected part.
So here's what that looks like in the real world. It's basically a cycle, right? A loop. You start with the OWASP lists to get familiar with the common threats. Then you go deeper using MIT and MITRE ATLAS to study how those threats play out in real life and what tactics attackers use. When you find a weak spot in your own system, you use the CVE system to label it properly. And the whole time, you're using a structured framework to make sure you don't miss anything. Then you repeat. It's this constant cycle of learning, analyzing, and getting better. When you step back, what all these tools really represent is a huge team effort. The security community gets it. The challenge of securing AI is way too big for any one person or company to handle alone. So these shared resources from OWASP, MIT, MITRE, they're really the foundation of our collective defense. It's everyone working together. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question. This toolbox we've looked at is absolutely essential for the AI we have today. But we all know AI isn't standing still. It's getting smarter, more autonomous, and more woven into our world every single day. And the threats are going to evolve right along with it. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what's next? What new tools are we going to need for the AIs of tomorrow?